This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one note podcast. Interviewing musicians, comedians, sports personalities, basically whoever has a story, and sharing it with you. Also featuring music from around the world, artists of all kinds of genres. This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one note podcast. What's always about encouragement, and who doesn't need some encouragement? Kick back and relax for a fun time. Great music. Encouraging words for you today. This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast.
Hi there. Welcome to Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. I'm your host, Jody Shopville. If it's your first time listening, or maybe you've been tuned in for a while, thank you for joining today. My goal has always been to encourage someone somewhere and meeting people from all over the world, sharing their story. I believe each and every one of us have a story. What we've been through, what we've gone through, what we faced. And I've had some great people on, like Candace Lightner, founder of MAD, Muds Against Drunk Driving, and now the founder of We Stay Alive. David Dusek, the founder of Rough Cut Men's Ministry. Jessica Cox and Derek Clark, inspirational speakers. I just do my best to share life and encourage you, as well as share music by many artists all over the world. A lot of independent artists you may have never heard of, but they have a great gift of music. From day one, I've always been reaching out to people and just sharing their story. So thank you for joining today. Subscribe and follow. We're on Spotify. I have a website, chitandchatpodcast.com. Let's encourage others. Speaking of others, today my guest is singer-songwriter Lucky Mates. Tremendous story of adversity he has gone through and challenges he has faced, as well as he shares some of his songs and music he's written, and we play today on the podcast. You know what? Encouragement is contagious. We can make encouraging others contagious and just sharing positivity all over the world. Let's be that. Let's be that encourager to people. Thanks for joining today. This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast, where it's always about encouraging others. We are doing something a little different here today on Chit Chat, playing a couple songs back to back before we get going. We got our first one is by Brandon Maddox, Cruising Through a Small Town.
Betsy's Diner's going strong, same old Fords and Chevys, stirring up the gravel, rolling in hot and heavy. It's good to see nothing's changed since I've been gone. Old Glory's in the air, waving from the courthouse. Magnolias line the street and seem to greet us by your house. Like paradise trapped in time, it's good to be back home. Cruising through this small town, top down, having fun doing nothing, making all round, seeing those old friends again. Where country smiles go for miles, take me back to days when time starts to slow and people you don't know wave and say hello. Hallelujah, I'm on hallowed ground. Girl, we must be close to heaven now, cruising through this small town. At the park this afternoon, two spellbound teens are kissing. The way she looks at him makes me start reminiscing. listen. Now me and you as we cruise through snapshots of yesterday. Come 8 p.m. tonight, traffic will get crazy when the town hall frees a horde of blue-haired ladies. Bingo Saturday night, forgiveness on Sunday morning. Cruising through this small town, top down, having fun doing nothing, making all round, seeing those old friends again. Where country smiles go for miles, take me back to days when time starts to slow and people you don't know wave and say hello. Hallelujah, I'm on hallowed ground. Girl, we must be close to heaven now, cruising through this small town. Mrs. Harper with her poodles nodding her approval as we just keep driving on. Cruising through this small town, top down, having fun doing nothing, making all round, seeing those old friends again. Where country smiles go for miles, take me back to days when time starts to slow and people you don't know wave and say hello. Hallelujah, I'm on hallowed ground. Girl, we must be close to heaven now, cruising through this small town. Yeah, we must be close to heaven now, cruising through this small town.
What a cool song by Brandon Maddox, Cruising Through a Small Town. Our next song is by Benjiphonik, Every Little Thing.
At 8 I thought my world had simply fallen apart. They put me in a lab to learn language art. My mom saw the panic and the shame and the doubt. She said, son, we got a problem, we can figure it out. Kids in the class knew that something was wrong. Before I knew it, they were saying that I didn't belong. But my mom and my dad said, you've got to be strong. You're gonna rise to the top, son, it won't take long. Just woke up, saw my wife off to work, put some tea in my cup. There was a man on the news looking shaken and stunned. He said a plane had just collided with tower number 1, and I watched in disbelief. The second plane crashed, towers came down, raining steel and ash, and for one brief second the whole world mourned. A moment of grace in the eye of a storm. Yeah. A global epidemic, the country is divided, the debate becomes polemic. Borough to borough, backyard to yard, from nation to nation, the virus hits us hard. We sunk into the rhythm of a planet distressed, cut off and isolated, toilet paper obsessed. It hits me kind of funny when I say it out loud, but you could taste the desperation and the fear in the crowd. For 12 long months the economy dropped, social gatherings stopped, and we thought that we would pop. You'd think the global tragedy would murder the game, but we fought and rose together like a phoenix from the flame.
Hello there. You there, Lucky?
Hi, Jody. How are you?
Not bad. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Lucky Mays here on Chit Chat. Thanks. I can't wait to talk with you and you kind of hear a little bit about your music, but it's gonna be a little harder though. I got some icebreaker questions for you to kind of get your brain going. Okay.
All right, I'm ready for it. Fire away.
The first question is kind of one of the sponsors is Tequiza. They're a taco place in the area, so this is a two-part question. One,
okay.
Is there a place in your neck of the woods where you're from that you love getting some tacos? And what's your favorite kind of tacos?
That I love getting tacos from. Well, there's a place down the road called Casa Taco here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
And I love their fish tacos.
Kind
of can't go wrong with those.
Nice. Yeah, I just had some. What did I have some at? I tried some fish tacos just recently, and it was pretty good. I shrimp tacos. That's what it was, and I was like, it's not too bad.
Yeah. There's a couple good places here in New Mexico, and as you know, in New Mexico, we like our spicy foods. We like the green chili and the red chili too. So Yeah,
I could do about a 4.5 on the spice level.
Yeah, there's plenty to offer here. All different heat levels are available in New Mexico. Lovely food here.
You get me hungry already. Actually, if you had a theme song when you walked into the room, I always think of Stone Cold Steve Austin's "Glass Break." What would be your theme song as you walked into a room?
Oh my gosh. Well, even though I've been a performing artist for a long time, I still get a little bit of jitters, when I get ready to go out on stage to perform. And so I guess a good theme song might be something like, Eye of the Tiger or something like that, or just to get the blood pumping and get the confidence level up a little bit before you go out and perform.
There you go. Back to food for a second. If you had one meal to eat every day for the rest of your life, what one meal are you going with?
Oh man! Wow.
You got one.
You got to stay healthy these days. And the more years you put on, the harder it is to keep pounds off. So I would say it'd have to be something healthy. I'd say probably like a seafood kind of dish, something like a seafood salad or something like that with greens and proteins.
Okay. A little bit of everything.
I like shrimp. You said shrimp earlier. I could do shrimp.
What shrimp do you prefer? Like fried or shrimp cocktails, shrimp scampi, or what?
Well, I prefer fried, but I think if I was going to do something every day, it'd probably have to be fresh. So maybe like a shrimp scampi salad. There you go. That's what I'd choose.
Ooh, that sounds good. Actually, you know what? Monday, today is actually shrimp scampi day. Actually, good, right on cue, man. That was perfect.
Well, there we go.
I do the National Day Calendar Day. I just looked at my calendar, going, today is shrimp scampi day. That's hilarious. I totally forget about that.
I didn't even have to Google it. That's pretty good. I'm in tune with the universe.
Now you know. It's also zipper day, so be sure your zipper is working today, I guess. Too.
Oh, yeah. It is.
If
It
you had the
is.
opportunity to share the stage with 3 other musicians, any era, any genre, who would you like to be on stage with? You'd like your dream trio, and yourself, to rock it out one night.
Well, I love Joni Mitchell. You know, I write and record music that kind of leans a little bit country, but I've always loved a good folk, you know, contemporary folk singer songwriter, and I like Joni Mitchell, so that'd be one. Um, I like the energy that an artist like Seal has. Are you familiar with Seal?
Yep.
He's guy that did Kiss from a Rose. So that would probably be another. And then, you know, I really appreciate the musicianship and the arranging style of Sting
Oh yeah.
from the Police. So those three would probably be, you know, yeah. I mean, shoot for the moon, right? If it could be anybody, I guess pick some biggies. So
That'd be awesome.
those would be my three. Yeah.
And last icebreaker question is, what is your cell phone wallpaper? You know, we all have our own little, you know, picture of a dog or the wife or the kids or the grandkids. What's your wallpaper on your phone?
Gosh. The wallpaper on my phone is actually of my granddaughter, Xena. She's just cute as a button, and you know, if I had my choice for the first thing I see when I wake up or when I flip my phone open, it's a good way to start the day is with her beautiful smile.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said flip your phone open. You got a flip phone?
Well, you know, I should have said swipe, you know, when you swipe up and you unlock. Yeah. No, I don't have a flip phone anymore.
My dad had a flip phone for a long time.
You know, sometimes I wish I could go back to a flip phone. It was pretty simple. I don't think it's the phone though. I think it's just the simpler times that is kind of attractive these days, you know.
For those out there who might not know who you are, I'm sure there are a few. Give us a little brief bio on who Lucky Maze is.
A brief bio. Well, I'm a singer-songwriter that was born in Sandia Park. Well, I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but I grew up in Sandia Park, which is really just the east side of the Rocky Mountains here. We have the Rocky Mountains come down from Colorado, and we have a mountain here called the Sandias. And so just on the other side of the Sandias is a little community called Sandia Park. And it's kind of backwoods, but it's beautiful country. And so that's where I was, you know, born and raised. Started writing music from very, very young. I can remember hearing, you know, listening to ABBA Gold and you know, that 70s AM radio. I might be dating myself a little bit, but
I'm 53. I'm with you.
Okay. So, you know, I grew up listening to you know, just popular music of the time. I listened to bands like Bread and, you know, Loggins and Messina and you know, stuff like that. And anyway, so yeah, I started writing music and playing, you know, piano and the guitar from a very, very young age. I must have been 3 or 4 years old. I think the first song I wrote was probably 3 years old. We had chickens, and one of our little baby chicks had died, and you know, I was sad, and so I needed to express myself. And being that I love music, I went straight to the piano and started writing a song for this poor little chick, you know, from our little farm that had gone on to the next side, you know. And I think that sort of began my melancholy approach to songwriting, if you will. It's a theme, I guess, that's really carried on through the years. But yeah, that's kind of where it started. I went to, you know, I played in the school band, the marching band. I was a percussionist. During my, you know, middle school and high school years, I thought I wanted to be a rock drummer. So I, straight out of high school, literally within the same month that I graduated, I packed up and moved to Los Angeles and studied at the Musicians Institute. I went to PIT, which is the Percussion Institute of Technology. Studied drums and percussion there, and really got heavily into songwriting. As I met other musicians, my eyes were just opened wide, and you know, so I had an opportunity to work with musicians from all over the world. That school really had folks from everywhere coming there to study. While I was living in Los Angeles, I, obviously needed to eat and pay rent. So I picked up a part-time job working at the tape library for Capitol Records. So I worked for Capitol Records for a little while, which was a very interesting job because I got to meet a lot of folks in the music industry and just kind of, get to understand a little bit about what that part of the business, was like.
What did you do in the tape library?
So I was literally like a librarian. So what would happen is Capitol Records had this huge warehouse where producers, engineers, and sometimes even the artists themselves would come in to this library and they would sign for and check out their master tapes, take them back to the studio, do a recording session, yada, yada, yada. Then they'd bring them back, check them back in. So I literally acted as the person that would, get those tapes, catalog them, file them into the system. And at this point in time, there were computers. I'm not that old, but it was, it was very much a manual process. I mean, like I said, they were still using, tape, 2-inch tape at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a unique experience because I got to handle, some original Beatles masters. If you remember, the Beatles were on Capitol EMI. Well, they were on EMI, who owned Capitol. And so I got to, literally hold, Beatles master tapes in my hands and wow, what a powerful thing that is. Humbling, but yeah, that was the gist of it. Yeah.
I picture you as a librarian from the movie Red with Bruce Willis. Remember the guy, old timer downstairs? He kind of behind the closed doors.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah, it was very much, like a dungeon there. I don't remember if there were windows actually.
But
it was a neat experience.
Did you have someone encourage you or inspire you as a young age as a musician, and up till now, really, along the way, people mentor you or just kind of gave you advice along the way?
Yeah. I come from a pretty amazing family of 4 older brothers, 2 younger sisters. My older siblings all listened to music, and a couple of them played instruments, guitar and bass and stuff. And actually, that's kind of how I got into drums a little bit. Is one of my brothers, who is now a bass player, great bass player, he also started on drums. And when he was away, I would jump on his drum kit and kind of bang around on him. So just growing up in that environment, my mom had a beautiful voice. She was an amazing person. And just my family never discouraged me. We came from a family that was very entrepreneurial in a way, not afraid to try things and fail. And I think that really gave me a good sending off when it was time to go out into the real world as an adult, a young adult, and just kind of never give up on a dream. And really also understanding that the love is in the labor and not always in the end result. Mm-hmm. And that was big for me because I've, as you've interviewed probably hundreds of musicians and singers and songwriters, and, you have ups and downs, and sometimes you're riding that wave and you're doing great, and other times you're not. And just having the comfort of knowing why it is that you do music is really what keeps me, kind of even tempered and moving forward. And then, on my mom's side, we had all of her family were very, very musical. One of my uncles was just a fabulous country and Western singer songwriter here in New Mexico and in West Texas. Yeah, just his name's Pete Lombach, Laumbach. If you look up his music and listen to some of his stuff, it's just fabulous. He's no longer with us, but his music is here, and that's a wonderful legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first opportunity you had to perform at a venue, and what was that like for you? And I'm sure you had little goosebumps and goose pimples, and you like you said earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the very first time I performed, it wasn't a venue, but it was. I think I was probably in 6th or 7th grade, and my buddy Richard Kakamis, I remember his name. He had this blue, awesome, hard rock Strat looking guitar. It wasn't an actual Fender Stratocaster. It was like a Hondo or some kind of an off brand, and he had this little amplifier, and I had my drums, and he and I were both into Queensryche. And so I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're a heavy metal band from the 80s, but we were totally into them, and we thought we were going to be them, So at our talent show in middle school, I went to Catholic school, and in our middle school we put on this show. So you picture 2 long-haired kids, just a guitar and a drum set, cranking away on heavy metal style music, to a bunch of other Catholic students, and parents at this talent show. Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. But I think at the time we really didn't understand the gravity of it. And looking back, I don't think I understood how important that was, because, in our mind's eye, we had just a thunderous roar of applause when we finished. And I don't know if it was because they were glad we finished or because they enjoyed the music, but either way, we interpreted it how we wanted to. And for me, it was like, yeah, that was great. I had a rush. And from that moment on, I just decided, gosh, I want to be on stage making music for people, making them feel good. And I want that love back. I was really kind of got addicted to the applause, if you will.
And how many years have you been singing? You've been performing and singing?
Well, performing and singing, gosh, yeah. So since middle school, so that would be, gosh, probably, almost 35, 40 years, something like that. 40 years probably. Yeah. I mean, a long time. I just turned 51, so I guess we can do the math there.
We're neck and neck.
Yeah.
In
yeah.
bracket.
Yeah.
Do you recall when you got your big break, and how was that for an emotional ride for you, getting up that pinnacle? Like, I've made it. I think I'm somebody.
Well, I think I had I'll rewind that a little bit, because I think I always had an idea that, going back to my upbringing and the influence of my parents and my family, was that, it's all about the work. So I've never really had a specific moment, I should say, where I felt like, wow, I've actually made it. But I will say that just in the last 5 or so years, I've really felt like I found my voice in a lot of ways. I found what it is that I love about what I do now. And I realize that, that can change over time. We all grow as people. But just the fact that I'm comfortable in my skin, and I'm comfortable with my abilities, and I'm also comfortable with stretching and pushing those boundaries too. So, but to be honest, every time I put out a song, I just put out a new song called "Worth Living For" a couple of weeks ago. I guess it's been now. It's already almost been a month, actually, at the beginning of April. And every time I put out a new song and I get feedback from people, I feel like a rock star all over again. And it's just
on here a little bit too. I got some notes for that one as well. We're discussing as well. If you weren't a musician, was there something you were going to fall back on in case you weren't going to, or was a musician what you wanted to be, period?
Well, I'm deeply passionate about the human mind and the human condition, which I think helps when I write songs. It helps me dig deep into topics and not be afraid to sort of pursue things that involve emotions. And so if I had to pick something other than music, it would probably be in psychology.
Okay.
Studying counseling, studying the mind and helping people overcome whatever it is that they're struggling with.
Just something that drives you to create your emotions and your thoughts on paper than to make that a song form for somebody. Because I realize a lot about music music is healing. It's therapy for a lot of people. It's relaxing for people. It tells a story. What's that mean to you? What drives you to create music?
What drives me to create music is really just like I said, the human experience. And it's not always firsthand. If you listen to my songs, and sure, there's probably parts of it that apply to me, but it's not always autobiographical. I feel like sometimes I can, have a conversation with a friend or a sibling or a parent, or just even, watching a movie or something and kind of understanding the emotions that people are feeling. And then the utter challenge of taking that emotion and finding a way to convey it through music is something that I find very challenging and very exciting and worthy, because like you said, music can encourage people. And sometimes it's not about encouraging people either. Sometimes I hear a song and it's just like, I'm angry as heck, and I just want to feel this emotion right now. And sometimes that's cool to write a song that makes you feel an emotion that you just need to get out.
Right. One of your latest releases is called "Is There Gold?" You share a journey of grief you went through and some struggles you faced,
yes,
and inspiration you faced. Would you mind sharing about that song and kind of that story a little bit, if you don't mind?
Not at all. Not at all. Probably one of my proudest moments was being able to get through writing that song, because it was very challenging. As you've probably read in my bio, and some people that know me will know that my wife and I lost our teenage son back in 22 to homicide. And it was a real struggle, because obviously you don't want that to happen. Here's a young man that had his whole future ahead of him, and in an instant it's gone. And so very, very heavy times for us as a family, and they always will be. That's something that I've discovered with grief, is that it never leaves you. You don't get quote unquote closure. It's something that you carry with you for the rest of your life. But through this song and through the writing of this song, I learned that hope is sometimes a very, very powerful thing that can carry you through when things like love don't feel like they're there, or when things like anger cloud your emotions and cloud your decision making. Hope is something that is eternal. And really, the song it's a love song to my family about hope and how we're going to get through this together. And that's why I wrote "Is There Gold?" and why it's such an important song to me.
I've had the opportunity to interview several people. One was my cousin who lost her 1-year-old son, my nephew, to SIDS a number of years ago. And she wrote a book of, where she faced PTSD and trauma and anxiety, all these feelings, and so it really helped her put it on paper to share with others of what she's going through. So can I express the pain that you guys went through, and my prayers are with you guys still as you guys go with that.
Absolutely.
What a great song. I mean, for some people who are going through that hard time, as you mentioned. You also mentioned your song "Worth Living For."
Yes,
I'm playing both of those on here on the podcast after the interview. People can really hear that song and hear what they're about. So share about "Worth Living For" and about that song as well.
I'm glad you asked about it. "Worth Living For" is it's a good time song. It's a good time song, and sometimes it's one of those songs that, like I said earlier, it's just when you have an emotion and you just want to feel it. "Worth Living For" is that kind of song. It talks about getting dressed up, going out, and just having a good time, and just kind of erasing your worries. At the same time, it's a little bit of a love song also. It's really written from the perspective of a guy who's got sweaty palms, trying to work up the courage to ask this girl to dance with him at the honky tonk, if you will. And he gets up the courage and does it, and people laugh at him. The girl that he asks to dance with him, her friends are kind of snickering and rolling their eyes at him, and now he gets up the courage and does it anyway. And that's what he's talking about. He's talking about his heart feeling like it's dying in that moment when he's getting ready to ask her to dance, but he knows that if he can get that dance with her, that feeling is worth living for. And that's what that song is about.
Did you meet your wife at a honky tonk?
No, my wife and I actually met playing footsie under the table at a pizza party after a high school band concert. Yeah, we were actually, it was a football game. I think we were both in the marching band, and I was in the drum line playing snare drum, and she was also in the band. She played the flute. And just perchance, one of her friends was best friends, or was dating one of my best friends, and so we all kind of sat together. And she and I happened to be sitting across from each other, and that's where it happened. Playing footsie under the table.
How long you guys are married?
Gosh, it's going to be 30 years now in July.
Hey, that's awesome! Yeah. 31 as well this year as well. So congratulations.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, that's online. The average length of marriage is like 7.5 years. Sad.
Wow.
My parents and grandparents both went over 50.
Well, there's something to be said for that. Both her parents and my parents, remained married their entire lives. So that's encouraging, right? It's a goal to aim for.
Definitely. Is there a process or ritual you have before you go on stage? Maybe crank up the eye of the tiger, or something you do before you get on stage? Pray. I don't know.
You talk about praying, man. There's something about the power of prayer. It at times can sometimes feel like a mantra, and that's okay, because sometimes it's just about getting psyched up, But for me, my process is usually, I'm nerve-wracked, I'm nervous, I'm anxious. I strap on my guitar, I get on stage, I start playing, and then I just let it all go. I forget about it. So I've found that there's not a whole lot I can do to calm my nerves, except for actually doing the act of performing. Gotcha. And that's why I think I love it so much, because it immediately takes me to a different place, and I'm not nervous anymore.
Are you working on any new projects or any new songs you're working on, or any you want to say about your life?
I am. Oh. Yeah, I am. I'm actually, and this is getting ready to be updated on the website, but I've got a new song called What's Left of Me. And that comes out May 24th, Friday, the 24th of May. And if you go to the website, by the time folks are hearing this, they'll be able to go to the website and see that there's a pre-save link, so they can save the link to that on Spotify and Apple Music. And yeah, it's a great song. I actually co-wrote it with a friend of mine from Nashville. Her name is Kinsley Melhorn, just a fantastic songwriter and an even more wonderful person that I really, really enjoy working with. So that's the next one that's coming out. And then around Father's Day, I'm releasing a song called Advice to a Son. A song that I actually wrote on Father's Day a few years back. And it's just a great story about, the things that your parents can tell you, when you're a young person, getting ready to go out into the world. Mm-hmm. The lyric on that one is really, really, really special. And then after that, I've got another song coming out in July called Taken, and that is a ballad. It's actually a duet sung with an amazing singer-songwriter that I met a few years ago. Her name is Jennifer Holm. Wonderful, wonderful singer. She's from Texas, but now in Nashville. And so that song's coming out. really, really cool song. I've never been more excited than I am right now about these next, few songs that are down the pike.
And what's your website?
It's luckymays.com, LUCKYMAYS.com. And yeah, that's where you'll find all the goodies, t-shirts, stickers.
What's it like collaborating with other musicians when you guys kind of brainstorm, kind of work together? Do you walk in with the idea, or you just kind of come together and go, we're just going to work on some lyrics or a tune or a rhythm or something like that? How's that work for you?
In my experience, I've had really good luck with coming in with a little bit of an idea, and I mean that by saying, that one or the other will come in with a little bit of an inspiration. It could just be a line, could be a song title, could be a melody, or even just a simple chord progression, and then really just kind of working through it together. It's really a blessing to be able to work with other people. And I've only started doing that in terms of songwriting in the last several years. And now that I've done more of that, I'm glad that I'm doing it. And it's a shame that I had missed it for so many years, because I've been writing for a long time, and I'm very proud of the stuff that I've written, the songs that I've written, the music that I've released. But when you can collaborate with another person, and come to a meeting of minds, if you will, on an idea, it's a series of negotiations and collaboration that really is invigorating. So yeah, I love collaborating. I look forward to doing more of it.
This podcast is all about encouraging others. My goal has always been simple: encourage someone somewhere. I want to give you the floor for a few minutes, just kind of share any encouragement for anyone out there. If they're a musician, or they're a dad or grandpa like yourself, or just gonna people who face adversity or challenges. Any words of encouragement for folks out there?
Keep moving. Keep moving. Do not stop. Because when you stop and your tires start spinning, you're just going to dig a deeper hole. So keep moving. Just trust that if you keep those wheels moving, it's going to get you to a new place. And that new place might not be the best place, but it's the next place. And, you don't need to see a mile out in front of you. You just need to see that next step that you take. So just take that step. Take that step. Keep moving.
That sounds like a great song. Keep moving. I mean,
yeah,
life throws a lot of obstacles and roller coasters at us, and ups and downs, highs and lows. And it's always definitely. I think of that scene from My Cousin Vinny is stuck in the mud. Keep on going.
Think about animals out in the wild. Those that just sit still get eaten, right? So be like the cheetah. Be like the antelope, the gazelle. But keep moving through those fields and
do you do concerts in the United States, or do we mainly stay down south?
No, well, I've toured most of the western part of the U.S. I really haven't done much, east of Texas, if you will. So I'd like to. I think we've got some things coming up that we're going to try doing some stuff back east, and then we're really looking forward to doing something out in Europe.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so. Basically wherever folks want to hear my music live, that's where we'll go. So, I encourage people to, like you said, it mentioned earlier, hit the website, subscribe to the mailing list that we have there, hit all the socials and YouTube and things like that, subscribe and make sure, you're made aware of the things that are going on. 'Cause, we definitely want to bring our music to as many people as we can.
I'm in Washington State, so you ever come this way, coffee's on me. I meet a lot of musicians from Australia, Poland, the UK, so I have connections over there with some musicians. So I'll always pass on some names to you. But I just love encouraging people and stories and sharing music. So all your music is welcome here anytime. Love to play your music. And thank you for the time today. Really appreciate it.
Jody, I appreciate you inviting me out to do this. I'm following your podcast. I think it's great what you're doing. And I wish you nothing but the best, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be in touch, and we'll get you out. How about next year? We'll just catch up again.
That sounds great. Let's do it.
Right. Take care of yourself. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This is one of the two songs Lucky Mason and I talked about today in our interview. This is There Gold?
I feel like I know you, like I've never known you before. All that we've been through, so much more than most endure. Every morning sunrise, when you open your eyes and the daylight burns away the cold. Is there gold at the end of our rainbow? Are there unlived dreams that hope can take hold of? Can we make another star after letting go? I wanna know, is there gold? I'll always see through a young man's eyes and console you through your darkest nights. Precious moments in our lives, through the years have passed us by. Can we keep the memories living in our souls? Is there gold at the end of our rainbow? Are there unlived dreams that hope can take hold of? Can we make another star after letting go? I wanna know, is there gold? Is there gold at the end of our rainbow? Are there unlived dreams that hope can take hold of? Can we make another star after letting go? I wanna know, is there gold?
This is Lucky Maze, worth living for.
She puts that blue dress on and some old George Jones, calls her girlfriends up, 'cause tonight it's on. And them ruby red ropers got more scoot than the night is long. Feel my heart skip a beat when she brings that heat, gets the whole place up and out of their seats. The dance hall smoking and I'm choking up the courage to ask for a dance. Well, it's all I can do, keep from looking looking like a fool when those boots start hitting the floor. My heart feels like it's dying, but I know she's worth living for. Then my big break came when the band started playing them good old honky-tonk tunes. Caught her staring at me in my bronc-up jeans. This cowboy's gotta make some moves. So I eased on up in front of all her friends. Excuse me, may I have this dance? Her friends rolled their eyes, but she just smiled and said, boy, I thought you'd never ask. Well, it's all I can do, keep from looking like a fool when those boots start hitting the floor. My heart feels like it's dying, but I know she's worth living for. Now come closing time and I rehearsed my lines, but I had to keep playing it cool. Her head on my chest put me to the test. I had to break my golden rule. It was killing me, but I had to see if she was willing to take that chance. Go for a ride, talk about life, and start a little sweet romance. Well, it's all I can do, keep from looking like a fool when those boots start leaving the floor. My heart feels like it's dying, but I know she's worth living for. Well, it's all I can do, keep from looking like a fool when those boots start leaving the floor. My heart feels like it's dying, but I know she's worth living for.
Hola, my friends. Hope you're doing well. Maybe you're getting a little hungry, so this little promotion for some businesses here in Silverdale might get you hungry. So if you're in the area, Kitsap County area, stop on by and see my friends at Tequiza, located at the Kitsap Mall in Silverdale. Their address is 10315 Silverdale, Washington. Their number is 360-698-4335. And on Tuesdays, you can go down and get your fill of tacos for 50% off. And now they have 6 kinds of tacos, so you can guarantee you'll get full on some tacos on Tuesday. They have burritos, chimichangas, taco salads. My favorite are the grilled jalapenos. And sometimes in the season, those jalapenos are super hot and super good. So go on down and see my friends at Tequiza at the Kitsap Mall. Also in Silverdale, they have a food truck called Tequiza Street. They have breakfast burritos, homemade flan, tacos, and churros too, all made with the freshest ingredients. Great customer service, great staff. Their number is 360-200-7315, located at 9571 Silverdale Way, Washington. That's 9571 Silverdale Way in Silverdale. Tequiza and Tequiza Street, great places for some authentic Mexican food. Go down and see them. Tell them Joey sent you. Come Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast, and get your feel on some delicious tacos. Often when I was growing up, my dad would have Paul Harvey on the radio. I love his voice. I love the many stories he shared. And also, we also got Reader's Digest when I was a kid and National Geographic. But Reader's Digest was really cool because it always came across, you'd come across some really cool, short, encouraging articles. And this reminds me of those times. This is saying about the rocks, pebble, and sand. A professor once stood before his students with a large empty mayonnaise jar and began to fill the jar with large rocks. And he asked the students, "Is the jar full?" And they all agreed, yes, the jar is full. Then he began to add small pebbles to the jar and give the jar a shake. As they all kind of condensed together amongst the larger rocks, then he asked again, "Is the jar full?" And now the students all said, "Yes, it's full, Professor." Then he began to pour sand into the jar. And this filled up the remaining empty spots and portions in the jar. Then the students and the professor said, "Now the jar is full." And the story of this, the lesson of this, is the jar represents your life. The rocks, pebbles, and the sand are things that fill it up. The rocks represent the most important projects and things you have going on, such as spending time with family, your health. This means that if the pebbles and sand were lost, your jar would still be full, your life would still be meaningful. The pebbles represent the things in your life that matter, but you could probably live without them. The pebbles are certainly things that give you a life meaning, such as jobs, hobbies, friendships, but they are not critical for you to having a meaningful life. These things often go and are not permanent or essential to your overall well-being. Finally, though, the sand represents meaning, filler in your life, of material possessions. This could be small things such as watching TV, social media, blah, blah, blah. These things don't mean much to your life as a whole, and are likely only done to waste time to get or a small task accomplished. The moral of this is if you start putting sand into the jar, you will not have room for the rocks and pebbles. And this holds true with things you left into your life. If you spend all your time on the small, insignificant things, you'll run out of the room for the things that are actually important. In order to have an effective and efficient life, pay attention to those rocks because they are critical to your long-term well-being. Mr. Alex Pablo. He specializes in assisting small to medium-sized local family restaurants establishments in enhancing their brand, identify, and cultivate a strong business image. He provides a comprehensive support through the creation and maintenance of professional business website, menu design, printing services, as well as implementing an effective online ordering system. His objective is to empower these businesses to flourish and achieve sustained success and increased online sales in their respective markets. Check out aldentedigitals.com for more information.
What do you get when you're a single mom that has a vision to a blooming full-time business? Go for it. That's what Amanda Zobrist has done. She has started the Dandelion Sticker Company. She has a knack to create almost anything. At the Dandelion Sticker Company, she can create tumblers, stickers, t-shirts, and much, much more. From little sizes to big sizes to really big sizes, she wants to make your vision a reality. Working with small businesses is her compassion in her community that allows her to make a meaningful impact on a local level. Looking for business to help you promote your business? Check out Dandelion Sticker Company. Her high-quality stickers are perfect for your products, advertising your services, and getting your business out there for the world to see. I'm so excited that Chit Chat, encouraging One Other Podcast, will be working with the Dandelion Sticker Company to create merchandise to sell in the future. Please reach out and let us know what you might be interested in. Got some ideas that you want created for your business or personal use? Check out dandelionsticker.com. Dandelion Stickers is locally owned and operated in Silverdale, Washington, but you can reach her easily by emailing dandelionsticker.com co@gmail.com. You can also find her on Facebook too. Make your vision a reality with the Dandelion Sticker Company today.
I like to have one final song at the end of the podcast here, and I came across this song, my good friend Ben Stewart, a.k.a. Benjiphonik. It's about 2 years old, but you know what? I've never heard it. This will be the very first time I have heard this song, and it's called God's Gonna Cut You Down.
You can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. You can run on for a long time. Sooner or later, God'll cut you down. Sooner or later, God'll cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar. Tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him God's gonna cut him down. Tell him God's gonna cut him down. Gather round, let me tell you the news. I sowed my seeds and paid my dues. I've been down on bended knees, talking with the man from Galilee. He spoke to me in a voice so sweet. It sounded like the shuffle of angels' feet. When he called my name, my heart stood still. When he said, Ben, come do my will. Go tell that long-tongued liar. Go tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him God's gonna cut him down. Tell him God's gonna cut him down. You can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. You can run on for a long time. But sooner or later, God'll cut you down. Sooner or later, God'll cut you down. You can live your whole life with your head in the sand. Suffering of your fellow man. As sure as God made day and night. What you do in the dark, He's gonna drag to the light. You can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. You can run on for a long time. Sooner or later, God'll cut you down. Sooner or later, God'll cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar. Go tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him God's gonna cut him down. Tell him God's gonna cut him down. Tell him God's gonna cut him down.
Ben Stewart, Benjiphonik, God's Gonna Cut You Down. This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. It's always about encouraging others.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.